Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Sanch, your host here on the Bodybuilding News Network. Welcome back to another installment. We're talking about the Empro Classic again. We did briefly cover the lineup before the judging, before the scorecard is officially dropped. We do have some quite a few additions from yesterday's video, so please stay with me as we do go through this video. Lots of phenomenal people coming into this competition. We're going to be talking about the men's open division for this one, so please stay tuned and let me know in the comment sections below if you want me to cover the classic or any of the other divisions coming into this show. Now, we will be covering in depth these competitors as we move into the weekend, as well as a watch party if that is something that you want to see. We will have a watch party here on the YouTube, so make sure you stay tuned for that kind of coverage. But let's go ahead and jump right into this one. I'm going to list off my top 6 or 7, maybe 8 competitors that I think are going to be placing very well in this competition. And there is going to be some discrepancies here. You know, there's going to be a couple people that are going to be rising to the top, and there's going to be some people that maybe are not going to place as high as you think they might, or as high as we might want them to. So please do let me know down below your thoughts on some of these guys, where you'd like them to place, and potentially if you think I'm way off on some of these, definitely let me know in the comment sections below. But let's go ahead and jump in to some of the first competitors I think are going to be placing in this top. Let's go top 8. In the top 8, I think this guy is going to place a little bit higher than what some people are going to say. I've seen a couple call outs. I've seen a couple lineups from other YouTubers, specifically our Lord and Savior Mark's Max Muscle, the Joe Rogan of bodybuilding news comparison channels. He did not really put Christian Wolski very high in that call out. And this guy is a top 5 Arnold Classic UK finisher 2 years ago, and that was a pretty stacked lineup. He also placed, I think it was top 2 or top 4 when Rafael Brandao won the Evogen Sport, Evogen, right? That one, the not the Prague, but the other one, the Evils, right? So he competed very well. He did a phenomenal job there. I think he's going to be one of these guys in the conversation to be maybe in the top 5, maybe top 6. That's where I'd like to see him. I think the only discrepancy, the only thing that really keeps him from placing as high as he could is the size. I think he just needs to continue to grow into his physique, and I think he needs to just continue making improvements with his flow and his structure, overall thickness from the back, some lat thickness and density towards the rhomboids into the arms. I think would take him very, very far. So he's going to be in my top 6 picks. I think if anything, he might fall to maybe top 8, but I do want to see him around there. So best of luck. A guy we did talk about briefly the other day when we were going through that lineup. He goes by Jose Maste on Instagram, and I believe he is Jose Manuel Muniz is what he goes by, his legal name. It's not on his Instagram anywhere, so I think that's why Mark missed him in his prediction video, and that's just unfortunate. You know, you really got doing an Obama right there. You really gotta treat it like it's a business, and when people do not put their names in their Instagram pages, it is a lapse in judgment, I do believe. I think that definitely is something that needs to be there so people can see it. And heck, if you want to link some stage photos, that would make us very happy as well. Now, unfortunately for Jose, I do not think he's going to be a top 6 guy in this show. I did think he was going to be a top 6 before the scorecard came out, before the lineup prediction came out, but I do not see him landing there anymore. I think he still needs to bring a little bit more thickness, a little bit more conditioning. But if he does prove me wrong, I will be very, very happy for him to do so. A person I did not notice initially is Roman Fritz. He has come out of the shadows back onto the FUAD. podcast and has been talking about his life and what's been going on in his career in the absence. He's been off the show for quite a while now, so I was really happy to see that he announced that he would be coming back on there, and I believe the episode dropped this morning. So definitely check out the Real Bodybuilding Podcast with Fouad Abiad, one of the titans of industry in bodybuilding podcasting. But getting back to Roman Fritz, he is making more and more improvements as we see him. He did that real over diet, over deplete for the, I think it was the Orlando and the Texas last year. I think he's made the improvements from there, especially when you looked at Texas. I think it was Texas, or was it? This is one of the shows after that. He made the improvements, looked phenomenal. I think he could be a top 6 guy here if he brings the conditioning to beat out some of these guys that are a little ways away from being stage ready. We will talk about at least 1 or 2 more, so stay tuned for that. But I think Roman Fritz has the opportunity to punch some points if they had points anymore. But I do think he has an opportunity to gain some stock in the bodybuilding world here at this Empro Classic this weekend, June, my buttons aren't working, June 17th and 18th of 2023. But best of luck to Roman. I do not know if he's going to be in that top 6 conversation. Another gentleman I somehow missed was Emir Amarage. Is a crazy impressive young bodybuilder. A lot of these ladies and gentlemen, a lot of these dudes are young pros. They're coming out of nowhere. They're really building a name for themselves. This guy, 24-year-old open pro, coached by the technician, Chris Acito, who is a good friend of Dave Palumbo, another titan of industry in the world of bodybuilding. This guy is phenomenal. He brings an amazing level of conditioning. The structure sometimes, if I'm being honest, ladies and gentlemen, the structure is sometimes not always ideal. It is not the prettiest structure on stage, but he is making improvements every year to make improvements on that physique, on the structure, adding some nice lean and well-needed tissue to that flow. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he's able to do in the near future. I definitely think he's a top 4, top 5 competitor in this lineup. Mr. Willington Baptista is a gentleman. I messed up his name on yesterday's video, so I do apologize. But Willington Fernando Baptista from Brazil is another competitor coming into this lineup. Definitely going to be a favorite. I know Mark had him in his top 2. I'm definitely going to have him in my top 3. We will see. I'll do another separate video specifically breaking down my top 6 pick in order. So if you do want to see that, please drop top 6 in the comment sections right now. It'll help me know what kind of content you ladies and gentlemen want to see here on the Bodybuilding News Network. But Mr. Willington Baptista has placed second at the Arnold Classic Brazil recently, the Brazil, and he is definitely a favorite for the show. Now, I don't think he has exactly what it takes currently to beat the favorite coming into the show. We will talk about him after a few more people, but Mr. Willington Fernando Baptista is in the conversation to do very well here. Peter Clencier is another gentleman from France, I do believe, who has done the Indie Pro a few times, and I really like the guy's physique. He's a big dude. He's a tall dude. He is I believe is a car accident survivor, and has come back from those injuries and is now, coming back into the pro league and being competitive in men's open bodybuilding, which is, I think, a huge thing that a lot of people aren't able to do. So I do wish him the best of luck. I am a tall gentleman myself. Definitely don't want to put myself in the same conversation as a pro bodybuilder. But I am tall, so I do always appreciate the tall fellas. Now, when we look at Peter Clencier, This dude is so freaky big. The only thing he needs to do is he needs to get some Michael Crizo, hint, hint, hint. He needs to get some Michael Crizo level legs, and he needs to continue to upgrade his back. And I think he could really do some damage at any pro show that he decides to do, especially when we look at bodybuilding shows over in Europe. I think that historically there's a much better chance of you qualifying for the Olympia overseas than it is within the continental U.S. So keep that in mind if you are a pro and you're competing and you don't already know this. That is something you could keep in your back pocket to help with your prep and trying to get on that coveted Olympia stage. Now, second to last, before we get into conversation about Michael Crizo, is Juwan Pradels, is another gentleman turned pro at this very show last year in the amateur ranks, turned pro, and now he's doing the men's open bodybuilding division. And just like other people have said, I will echo my sentiments, my worries. EP09, talking specifically about this, is the conditioning. I think most of bodybuilding journalism right now is in the agreement that this guy might not be ready to get on stage. The conditioning is just not there. We need to see more lines, more striations. Specifically, I know EP also mentioned in the lower back area, there's some fat held there. Now, these photos are from 2 days prior, so we're looking around a week and a half out from a pro show, his pro debut. And honestly, I do not think that this would be spelling success for this young gentleman. I believe he can still do this show. He can still look good, but I do not think he's going to be in that winning circle just off conditioning alone. The structure is there. I think he has a very nice flow, great biceps, nice complete arms, phenomenal lat flow and delt, crazy looking full delts from the front. But I just do not think it's in the cards for him to be winning this show or in that winning circle of a top 3 or probably even a top 6 unless he really drops the hammer on conditioning 1 week out, under that, 6 days out, 5 days out, something like that from the Empro Classic. Andrea Presti is second to last here on the scorecard, and I know some of you were a little hesitant with my comments of him being a sink or swim prediction for the show, and maybe I was being a little too harsh for the gentleman. He is one of the best bodybuilding pros to come out of Italy, especially in the men's open bodybuilding division, so I do want to give him some love there. I think he's doing a phenomenal job to represent his region in Europe in general. He is a bodybuilding pro champion. He is a pro open Olympian. He's done it before. He could probably do it again, but I do think that this lineup is going to be a challenge for him, and he's really going to need to pull all of the stops. He's going to need to bring every weapon he has in his arsenal to go up against the next guy we're going to talk about, and that is Michael Crizo. Now, Michael Crizo, correction, he is not top 10. He was a top 12 Olympian at this last Olympia. I do believe that he will improve upon placings at this year's Olympia. I do think that he's going to win this show undoubtedly. I do believe that if he does show up in even potentially guest posing conditioning, I think his crazy, freaky, gosh darn Lord above, Allah gifted physique is going to push him to the Olympia. I don't think that there's really anyone in this lineup that could push him when you look at the structure and the flow that he has. The arms, the taper. Mark did mention in one of his videos, his prediction video, that he could use some lat thickness. I do not disagree with that. I think that would be a nice addition for him. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, I do see Michael Crizo winning this show. Those are my predictions. Please let me know top 6 in the comment sections below if you want to see BNN's top 6 prediction in the men's open bodybuilding division for this Empro Classic this weekend in Alicante, Spain. We will be doing a watch party here on YouTube, so make sure you drop a comment saying watch party if you want to see that happen. And of course, if you want to see a guest host for the watch party to join myself, Josh Santz, your host here on the Bodybuilding News Network, please let me know in the comment sections below. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching a longer video. Make sure you message Mutant and let them know that I got the care package. I'm looking forward to wearing their stuff And definitely check out Poor Boy Supplements, as they have a very cool collaboration going with Mutant Nutrition currently. And they do have plenty of different codes there. Rock bottom prices on supplements. So definitely check out poorboysupplements.com and let them know your boy Josh Sanch sent you from BNN. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you in the next one.